EU officials say that they won't be swayed by the decision by the aid charity Médecins Sans Frontières, or Doctors Without Borders, to stop applying for funding from the European Union in protest of the EU's policies in dealing with its refugee and migrant crisis.
Our Europe correspondent Jack Parrock has this report.
1 in every 113 people in the world is a refugee or internally displaced. Last year, over 1.3 million people applied for asylum in the European Union, most from Syria, Iraq and Afghanistan, but also from African countries like Eritrea and those fighting Boko Haram. But a deal between the EU and Turkey to prevent migrants from reaching Europe via the Greek islands has prompted AIDS charity MSF to stop taking funding from the EU.
The Commission has been informed that the suspension will have no impact on ongoing EU-funded humanitarian projects implemented by MSF in other parts of the world.
The EU insists its deal with Turkey to return asylum seekers back to Turkey in an exchange system which sees Syrian refugees resettled in Europe is working to stem the flow of refugees. MSF says it's a plan which forcibly moves people, and that means the EU has turned its back on humanitarian principles. As the summer months approach, more and more refugees and migrants will board smugglers' boats in North African countries like Libya to take the far more treacherous route into Europe through Italy.
How the EU has decided to engage with Africa is really around promoting a policy of deterring refugees from arriving on European shores, and they do this by entering into partnership agreements with the governments of these countries, where they're actually firstly agreeing that if these governments don't agree to stem the migration flows to Europe, that they will cut trade and development aid.
Europe's naval mission in the Mediterranean to save lives has been extended another year though, and the EU has set up a £30 billion trust fund for Africa to address the root causes and push factors of African migration into the EU. But the EU's plan to engage with North African countries like Libya with its fragile unity government will be difficult and agreements hard to make, and it's likely that more charities will protest any potential deals done. Jack Parrock, SABC News, Brussels.